It includes a brick that is placed on the plaza that mirrors this for that. Thank you very much. I'm going to take you back to the program as it is. We had to make that slight adjustment. We're going to go back in to the introductions. We have some wonderful for the community. One of them he's always been to our community. I want to bring up St. Paul Mayor Melvin Carter III.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Governor. We appreciate your leadership. You know, leadership is shown. The character of leadership is shown, not on beautiful sunny days, but the character of leadership is shown when times are differently over these past days as Minnesota has been thrust into crisis. I want to say good morning or hello, of course, to Marvin Anderson. We thank you for your leadership. He's one of the youngest guys in Rondo community. If you measure by energy, if you measure by impatience, if you measure by imagination, Mr. Anderson, you were one of the youngest people I know, but you were still my elder, so I just want to tip my hat to you. Thank you for your leadership.
Okay. Yeah, you get them.
I think that's all the cameras that are here.
You guys good?
Yeah.
Yeah,
good,
so
thanks,
Mayor, I demoted you. I'm sorry. Talk about last night and how important and poignant that was. So many people came.
Yeah, last night felt like the very best of Minnesota, which I think, of course, Melissa and Mark were in that space on the Capitol, and just the quiet dignity, the people that were there. It's I saw people I see every day, and then I saw people I haven't seen for years, but were there. I think just to understand what happened here. I've been saying it, I think, just her quietness, but the effectiveness of it. You often hear Minnesota talked about with Humphrey and Mondale and Wellstone. I don't think we'll ever not include Hortman in that. And like I've said, I don't know what it's like to work in state government without her. And she was the rock, and we were all telling stories of negotiations. I mean, we've been to, just this spring, we were together for hundreds and hundreds of hours. And there was always that one constant that pushing us forward to get something done. So last night felt powerful. I think there's a deep sadness that is, as I said here, people feel like they're maybe on the edge of being a little bit broke by this, but I think that's we got to gather together.
I just want to add to that it's such a really, truly, in Minnesota, bipartisan. I mean, Kurt Zeller's got a lot of old lawmakers coming.
I saw Eric Paulson. I hadn't seen Eric since our time in Congress. No, and I think
everybody's.
And I'll give a big thank you to everybody who's done that, and I think especially these Republican lawmakers. I saw Governor Pawlenty and all. I mean, it's Minnesota spirit. It wasn't that long ago we were all pretty dear friends and spent time together, almost, battle it out, then shake hands, and then spend time. I think that's probably now more than ever is needed.
Your message here, explain to me your thought process and your message on Juneteenth in light of these events.
Yeah, well, I think about this, and I know that the road ahead is going to be hard, but you're speaking to a group of people, and especially the black community, the resiliency of this. We're commemorating that day in June of 1865. You could tell John Lewis would tell you it wasn't done then. You'll tell folks today that it's not still done in terms of fully equity, full equality, and fully being part of the American dream. So I think as we try and figure out how do you rebuild from this or whatever, there's strength to be taken from this community that's resilient. And Rondo is our personification of it, where we made a decision, and many communities did. We put up freeway through the heart of the black community in Minnesota, and they still thrive.
The effort here, there's a booth right here about the bridge, reconnecting it. Where does that stand?
Yeah, I'm supportive of it. Look, there's a lot of pushback from some folks that it was supported by President Biden. Obviously, I don't think anything just don't think President Trump has much interest in any of these types of projects, these healing projects. This is one that has a lot to do culturally, but it also has a lot to do economically. So we got the planning money down. We'll continue to come back at it. I'm supportive of this project and think we need to get it done.
Governor, back in January, you were at the Rapidan Dam calling for $10 million in state funding for the recovery efforts. You did not make it in the budget bill. So what happened?
Yeah, well, at the end, and I said the bonding bill is always a tough one. It takes a supermajority, and those comes out of the legislature of what they see fit. Our commitment is there to make sure that it's done. We'll get the money too, and we're still pushing the federal government. But our commitment to making sure, looking like removal, bringing people back, getting that thing whole and restoring that river the way it needs to. So this will be an ongoing yearly project, but we'll be back at it.
And these bills are coming due, though. What's your message to the community there?
Yeah, well, we need to stick with them, and I think that we don't. Again, we're pushing back on the federal government, saying states have to do this alone. I would never tell the community they have to do it alone. As Mankato and Rapidan goes, so does Moorhead's.
What's the days ahead look like, and where are we at in the process of planning a memorial service?
Yeah, there's nothing been put out by the family. That work is being done. We will honor the family's wishes, trying to make sure that we follow through. I still make available to the family. I think it's appropriate. You saw last night, Minnesota needs to mourn together, and I think having Mark and Melissa lay in state in the Capitol is the right thing if her family chooses that. So I think over the next coming days, you'll start to hear some things. There's just a lot going on, and got news today, I believe, that Yvette Hoffman may be released from the hospital today, which is just a bright spot amongst the darkness, and John still continues to recover.
But you hope for a big public memorial
If
service?
that's their choice, we will do everything. And I actually think those things help us heal. I think we gather together. The family will do some of their private things they need to do because it's very hard, but I do believe doing that is appropriate. And I'm hearing from folks across the country and across the world that this was a dagger to our democracy. This was an unthinkable act, and I think commemorating that life and changing it and telling about what she's done will start to heal. But make note of this, that we will not stand in the face of this type of violence.
Mike, did you have one? Yes, Governor. In light of the events this weekend, can you talk about the security of public servants going forward?
Yeah, I think this has always been something. I know, and I want to thank law enforcement, first of all, for everything they did in the immediate aftermath of this, of securing all of the legislators, of going down through that list, certainly in the manhunt and the apprehension of the suspect in this case. And then I think going forward, this conversation of how do you do it. And I talked about this, unfortunately now one of my dearest friends in Congress was Gabby Giffords. She and I did those Congress on the Corners. Now you see this connection. I think for years, members of Congress, our United States senators, don't have security around them, and we saw how dangerous that is. So I think there's going to be a conversation, and this will be a broader one in the legislature and with us, of what we can do to provide that kind of security. And I think the conversation will come up at the Capitol. I made no bones about it that I think it's inappropriate that we carry firearms in the Capitol, and I think we have to reassess that.
Okay, thanks everybody.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Governor.
Thanks.